Hey guys, this is your girl JD. So I've been gone a while. I've actually been really sick for a long while now, and I finally got better. Then I got COVID again, and now I'm all good again. Sorry to load that all on you right away. As you see, I didn't use my usual intro. And also, as you see, I didn't do my Moonlight Chicken review that's coming. But that's because I actually want to talk to you about something that's been going on. So Anchor has always been owned by Spotify. I knew that when I went into it. But they have made some changes. One of the things I have is ads by Anchor that I get paid anytime someone listens to an episode. It's coins. It's like a penny each, but it's like whatever because I'm a stay-at-home mother. Any streaming service I have, like iQIYI, it is my streaming service that my husband is paying for. And I'm like, hey, if I review shows and I get a little money here and there, that's going to help to pay for the streaming service. That again, I'm depending on my husband to pay for me, basically. So Spotify has decided to take a larger role in Anchor. I don't know the specifics of the situation. I don't know why this is happening now. But I had received an email in February. So I knew this was coming. I wasn't sure what was going on. And I really do feel like I'm going to get some kind of hit with this. Let me explain. So ambassador ads eligibility has changed. Basically, they sent us an email saying, we're writing to let you know about an update to our ambassador ads program eligibility. Moving forward, within the last 60 days, creators must have published at least one episode and have at least 100 listeners on Spotify to qualify for ambassador ads programs. Now, I do have over 100 followers on Spotify, but I don't know if I have 100 listeners on Spotify alone. My listeners are kind of spread out. Some people don't have access to Spotify to listen to the podcast, so they're listening on different websites or different medium platforms. And I can see the breakdown of where people are listening. I do have listeners, most of my listeners on Spotify, but definitely not all of my listeners on Spotify. I believe like the only episode I have with 100 listeners is actually Kin Porsche. Over 100 listeners only on Spotify is the Kin Porsche one. Now, it also says under these new criteria, your show is not currently eligible for the program, and your access to ambassador ads will end within the next 30 days. So I no longer have ads. What does that mean? They made it that I'm eligible to do subscriptions, which is, I think, what they're trying to do. They're trying to get people to move to subscriptions. So instead of them paying you for ads, instead they have your followers pay you for content. I think that's what's happening. And I don't want to put that on you guys. I'd rather going, hey, just keep listening, or here are these other things, because I do try to work with different affiliate programs where you can look through and you can purchase something and I'll get a little thing off of that. To not put, like, I don't want to go behind a paywall. I don't want to go behind a paywall. I started this show in 2020 mostly for fun, and now that I'm home, it's something that I get to do, yes, but it's also something I have to spend money on. I'm spending money on purchasing memberships to sites to be able to watch these shows, to be able to come on here and then talk about them, because I enjoy talking about them and I enjoy the community I get to be involved in. I enjoy interacting with everyone on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, mostly on TikTok. I'm mostly on TikTok now because I can just do that from bed. And I'm kind of just at a point where I don't know what to do. I've contemplated doing the subscriptions and doing them at 99 cents and then just have like, I don't know. And I don't know what this, I don't know what this means for the future of the podcast, is what I'm trying to say. Because it's not necessarily about the money. Like, having this podcast has never been about the money. It's always just been about doing the show and having fun, and I just enjoy it. I enjoy talking about BL. I enjoy watching BL. I enjoy the community that I get to be a part of, all the amazing people I got to meet, and I will get to meet in the future because of our shared interest in this genre. But honestly, like, that money rolling in, like I said, helps me to like not have to always go to my husband and be like, hey, can I get this? I'm sure he doesn't mind, because he loves when I'm happy and he loves that I have this medium. He was the one who suggested this podcast. He was the one who wanted me to just have something to be able to do, and he knows what I love, and he was like, hey, talk about it. There's other people out there that like this too, and I'm sure they'd love to hear you talk about it. He's amazing. He's an inspiration for me. But I feel like it's now becoming a burden, because I'm getting ready. He already approved my Gaga Ooh La La subscription, because Aichi has crappy subtitles. I'm going to get into that in a bit. I'm not going to only talk about that. I'm going to get into that in a bit. So he's been like, yeah, here, go ahead and get this other thing so that you can continue to talk. And my idea was, because I'd have the ad revenue coming in, it's not that much money, but at least it would pay for a part of it, and I wouldn't have to feel like I have put this financial responsibility on my husband alone. Like, hey, at least I'm contributing in some way to my podcast, even though I'm not paying for the entire thing. At least I've earned half of this money back, or whatever. And when I say it's coins, I really mean it's coins. Like, I've been doing this podcast since 2020. I did take a huge hiatus, especially while I was pregnant with my final child. That's how they shall be referred, the final one. And in all that time, I've earned $36. It really is just coins. But at least I can say some part of my getting this or getting that is being paid for. If I'm renting a movie or a show to talk about, hey, at least I know I will get back some of that money when I put this episode out. But that's not the case anymore. Because for me, even if I was getting $1 on that episode, or I got a good enough where I was like, oh, I got $4 on this episode. $4 is a rental for a digital copy of a show. Like, it'd be like, oh, I paid for that. That's not going to be possible anymore unless I look at other revenue streams. And I don't like putting that on my listeners. I like the idea of, hey, if you can afford to support. If you can't afford to support, just keep listening to the episode, because you're helping. And I guess you are. If you get me to 100 listeners, send it to your friends, put it in your groups, post me on Reddit. Then I can get to 100 listeners and get back eligible for ad revenue. I guess that's it. Let's move on to another topic, I guess. Like I said, I'm gonna be getting a Gaga Ooh La La subscription. Just got my approval. Have to get the approval. Gotta make sure it's in the budget. Because I've had Aichi since, of course, Kin Porsche. One of the things I've noticed with Aichi, though, their subtitle work is very subpar. par and seems to be getting worse. I was watching Bedfriend on iQIYI, and now I'm watching it on YouTube because the subtitles on YouTube are just so much better. It's more superb. We had Hell with I Long Nai. I spoke a lot about the subtitles on that, how bad it was. I don't know what the situation is over there. Maybe it is that they just don't want to pay people to do the subtitles, or are they requiring studios to do their own subtitles? But there's studios that do their own subtitles on YouTube and they come up with superb work. So I don't even know if it's that. There's just a lot of crap going on there that needs to be fixed. And Gaga Ulala just has more variety when it comes to male romance, because Gaga Ulala, of course, is the queer streaming service platform. But they have so many other countries. So we got Taiwan, like shows like Papa and Daddy, which I freaking love. We have shows from the Philippines, which there's so many movies from the Philippines I want to watch. And Gaga Ulala actually has a handful of them, or a few of them that I've noticed. So I'm very excited to finally get to watch those. And yeah, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and support their platform because, you know, they're doing what I'm doing, talking about the gay shit. And iQIYI, they're not horrible. I mean, I do think they can be better if they had some better quality. It's mostly the better quality subs. They have a great variety on there. They even have kids shows on there. There's a dinosaur show one of my kids love. So, you know, they have the stuff on there where it can be for the whole family. They have was it The Fairy and the Devil, but that's available other places too. I think it's also available on Netflix. They have a wide variety though of they I would say have the wider variety of medium, but when it comes to countries and genres, because it's not all romance, and there's things on there that my entire family can watch, where Gaga Ulala is going to be more just for me. I'm mainly going to be the only person in the house who watches that one. So Gaga Ulala it is. I feel like I would get more bang for my buck in that, more things to review, and hey, maybe I'll get to 100 listeners on an episode so they can give me back my status to do ads. This sucks. Like, one of the reasons I went with Anchor in the first place is because they didn't care what your status was. If you wanted, you could start earning on your podcast right away. One listener is, there you go. Yeah. So, and it sucks because I've had over 2,000 streams on my podcast on Spotify alone. That's not even how many streams I've had through all the platforms that I have my podcast on. That's not all the streams through all the platforms the podcast is available on. I've had 2,000 streams on Spotify. I've had over 1,000 listeners on Spotify, but because each individual episode, because think about how we do it, how we're going to do. You're going to look for a show that you're interested in watching or you have watched. You're not necessarily going to look at a show or a book, because I do talk about comics and books as well that I've read. So you're not necessarily going to look for that. Like, if you're not into Western BL, you're not going to look at my Heartstopper review. You see what I'm saying? Even though, go watch Heartstopper. But yeah, if you're not interested in Western BL, you're not going to look at my Heartstopper review. If you're not into reading comics, you're not going to look at my Castle Swimmer review. Even though, again, go read Castle Swimmer, please. It's on Webtoons. And I do a variety. I know which ones get more listeners, and it's usually my weekly show ones, because people are watching that show at the same time. that really get listeners, and like one of them that didn't do as well with Jimmy and C, darn it, vice versa. Because not a lot of people were interested in vice versa, or they fell off of vice versa because they weren't really feeling it. But I loved it, so I continued my review on that, even though I knew it was more for me at that point and like the 5 people who were watching it with me. So that's how this works. That's how a review program like this will work. So I'm not going to have the same amount of listeners each time. I don't know what to do at this point. I guess I have to start. Well, no, I mean, like I said, I have different affiliate programs that I work with that I post the links on the WordPress. So check out my WordPress as well. That I make sure to post the links on the WordPress, and if you purchase through them, through the link, I get a little something, which again is helpful for me being able to say, hey, I earned something on this. But it is what it is. It sadly is what it is. Having the ad revenue stream, like I said, it was mainly coins, but it kind of justified in a sense for me being able to say, hey, at least I earned this back on the subscription that I had to pay for to watch that, or the money I paid for the book. Like, because I like to support original creators of items, of things, so I will actually purchase the book. And again, it means me going to my husband and going, hey babe, so here's this book. The digital copy is $10. Thank you. Out of respect, because he's the one earning, the income, and I know he's going to tell me yes anyway, but at least being able to say, hey, at least I spent $10 on this book. I earned $2 back. All right, I spent $8 on this book. I feel useless, I guess. This is what it's like moving from being a working mom to a stay-at-home mom, I guess. But yeah, I guess I feel useless. I'm sorry for unloading this on you guys. But yeah, I don't want to have to move to the subscription model. So stream and send to people so I can stream, so I can get 100 listeners each episode. So they put me back on the ad revenue list. I guess. But yeah, c'est la vie. Thank you guys for listening to my little mini rant and explaining how I'm moving from Aichi to Gaga Ulala, which kind of sucks because I do like Aichi and I want to support Aichi because that's where a lot of people are posting their stuff and it's blowing up. Aichi is getting huge. They're cementing themselves in the market, especially with the whole thing with Studio Wabi Sabi. They got 2 shows from Studio Wabi Sabi, exclusives. They're getting exclusives on their platform like crazy, but 2 exclusives from Studio Wabi Sabi. Yeah, but I'm just gonna have to sadly say goodbye, or maybe I can talk my husband into let me have 2. No, maybe we'll see. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to come on here and explain. Will this affect how I go about getting my content? Maybe. Who knows? But Gaga Ulala, here I come. I've been waiting to get Gaga Ulala because I thought I was going to have to review the YouTube version of Unforgotten Night. That's coming. But I get to do it on Gaga Ulala. And of course, Warawa, which I wanted to do while it was on air. But again, I didn't have Gaga Ulala. And I don't feel comfortable reviewing shows that I'm watching on not the legal platform. I want to support who I'm talking about. So yeah, that is all now. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, and good night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Bye.